Hello everyone, my name is David Ivan B. Tenorio. I'm a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology student from the University of Antique Tarlac Memorial Campus. Okay, so in this video, I'll be explaining to you the codes we've used for our laboratory activity number 1, which has the title Data Exploration in our machine learning course. Okay, so starting off with the first cell of code, as you can see in the first line of the first cell, it imported the pandas library and assigns it with an alias called PD. And for the second line, here it called onto the read CSV function from the pandas library to load the iris dataset, for which the dataset is located or entailed at this URL over here inside the function. The third line entails the assignment of column names to the data frame, which creates a list of column names and assigns it to the column attributes of the data frame. And for the last line of code from the first cell, here you can see that it used the head function. So the result of calling this function is it displays the first 5 rows of the data from the data frame, which is a very convenient way to get a glimpse of the data structure and contents. Moving on to the next cell, which is the second cell of codes here. As you can see here, it imported the is numeric data type data type function from the pandas API types module. The purpose of this function is to check if a column's data type is indeed numeric. As for this block of codes, it first started with the for loop statement and followed by the conditional statement if and the is numeric data type function. Inside the if statement is a block of codes with the print function. So the purpose of this is to check if the current column contains numeric data, and if it does, the code inside the if statement will be executed, which calculates and prints the summary statistics that it entails. The third cell only contains a single code. This is a code used to count the occurrences of each unique value in the column of the data frame. And as you can see in the output, it shows how many times each type of iris flower appears in the dataset. Next is also a single line code, and as you can see, it used the describe method on the data frame, which is a table-like structure holding the iris dataset. This line lets you acquire basic statistical summary of your dataset, which helps you to understand the distribution of the data. For the fifth cell, you can clearly tell that it is about the covariance, since it is stated here in the title. So this code actually calculates how much the numerical features of the iris dataset, such as the sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, change together. And then this next cell of codes over here finds the correlation of the iris dataset features. It focuses on calculating and displaying the correlation between different features of the dataset. Next is the distribution of numerical data. So we have a histogram here. It is a visual representation of how the data is divided into bins. Yes, and you'll see on the output that the bins and the frequency of the data points within each bin. Okay, and then this block of code over here is a lot. When you look at the output, this code creates a figure containing 6 scatter plots that contain 3 rows and 2 columns. So each of these scatter plots visualizes the relationship between 2 different features of the dataset. Those features can be seen underneath each scatter plots. And finally, for the last cell, this code imported the parallel coordinates function from the pandas plotting module. This code actually takes the dataset stored in the data and identifies different categories it contains based on the column, and then creates a parallel coordinates plot to visually compare the numerical features across these categories. So in conclusion, the purpose of this activity is to see how the data is distributed, identify the presence of outliers, and lastly, to determine which statistical tests might be most appropriate. Okay, so that concludes the code explanation video for this laboratory activity. Okay, see you in the next one, guys. Bye.